My name's Ben Yenny, and I don't make movies. I help filmmakers make money from their movies. Today, we're talking about the comparative or competitive analysis, which is one of the three ways to project revenue for your independent film. Let's get started. A competitive analysis is something that you can either make yourself or hire a consultant or company to do for you. My personal favorite company on this is Nash Info Services. They run the-numbers.com, which is where I generally go for a lot of my data anyway. Full disclosure, I have done the occasional consulting call for them. But they have some of the most up-to-date data in the industry that I've seen. So, step one is to find 20 to 30 similar films from the past 5 to 7 years. Every industry changes over time. Film changes extremely quickly, especially right now. Even though film is considered a mature industry, it still changes a lot in half a decade. That's why you only want to use films from 2015 or later as of the publishing and shooting of this video, which is in 2020. If you have to, you can go to 2013, but you really don't want to go beyond that. You want to see how similar films have fared under similar economic conditions, and the amount of content being made is one of those conditions, and it's only going up. So really 2013 is already pretty far out of date in terms of what films can be made and what they will make. As an example, I don't even think we were past Avengers Phase 1, or if we were, barely. And now we're all the way past Phase 3, and Phase 1 changed a lot of big studio politics. If someone commented, I might do a meta-analysis on something like that in the future. Oh, while we're on the topic of comments, though, what genre is your film going to be? It's actually a huge part of your competitive analysis, or any level of this. You need to understand what genre your film is going to be and how other films of the same genre and the same budget range and the same general level of attachments have done in the recent past. And as you can see from what I just brought up, genre, budget, attachments, and intellectual property are some of the biggest things that qualify a film as similar to yours. Just because you're making a $110,000 found footage film doesn't mean that it's going to be the next Paranormal Activity. There are so many found footage films made every year, and there are really only two major franchises that you've ever heard of that have done just big bucks basically ever, and that's Blair Witch and Paranormal Activity. Even if you're making a found footage film, they're probably not going to do anywhere near as well as those two films did. Step 2, you need to find as much data as you can, and this would be box office, which is easy to find, physical media, which is fairly widely available. But where it starts to get tricky is when you're talking about video on demand and general streaming revenue. Most companies pay a certain amount for an independent film, just as a flat rate, for subscription. Some pay a royalty, Amazon's highest among them. Most AVOD platforms pay a royalty more than paying a flat license fee. But figuring out exactly what this is going to look like for you as a filmmaker is going to be extremely difficult. You should also figure out what the international revenue is likely to be based on the international revenue from these other films. Really, you'd love to just get the actual average territorial sales price, but that's not an easy figure to track down. And for most low-budget films, the answer to that is just a revenue share deal. Third, you need to make assumptions. I know assumptions have kind of a bad rap about them, but you're never going to be able to know exactly how much everything's going to sell for, so you need to make certain assumptions, and you'll need to outline your methodology. And finally, you need to do math. You need to do a lot of math based on all of those assumptions and those methodologies. These are things that consultants can help you with dramatically, and they will make your assumptions more likely to be accurate, and the methodology that they use is likely going to be better than the methodology that you use. But it's not going to be foolproof. Again, I tend to use Nash Info Services for this. I used to do this service myself. I have since started outsourcing it to them because they have better data than I do, and not all of it is available to the public on their site. Thanks so much for watching that video. And if you really like this sort of content, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. If you want the decks from these videos, join at the $5 level on my Patreon. And I really want to know what you think. What do you want to know from a working executive producer, distributor, and producer's rep on what it takes to make money in the independent film world? If you drop it in the comments, I might just make a video about it.